free mobile app development tools at this time of day. We'll go ahead and kick it off. If you need to step in and out, that's totally fine. I know we may have more bodies to come in, so we will get underway. This is Rachel Renick. She is Public Services Librarian at Millsaps here, and she just received her MLIS from the University of Alabama just last year. She began working in libraries at Ole Miss as an undergraduate, and Rachel has presented on potential uses of iPads for reference librarian use, teaching computer skills to people with intellectual disabilities, and of course, app development tools like we'll talk about today. So everybody welcome Rachel. Thanks a lot.
All right, hello everyone. As you said, I'm Rachel Renick, and I have been the Public Services Librarian at Millsaps for 1 month now. So I'm a very new librarian, and so I'll just get started. As you can see on this front page here, these are the kind of things I'm going to show you how you can do really easily. The one over there says Millsaps College Library, that one is done by a website called Mobile by Conduit, and that's the website I'm going to show you the most. And then the one on the right is a screenshot of an app that I created using another app development tool called Appsbar. So, and on your handouts, there's a QR code, and that just scans to go to the app that was done by the Mobile by Conduit, and it's that one that looks like that Millsaps College Library. So anytime you want to take a look at what that looks like, that's kind of like what an end product would look like. And as you can see, I'm a public services librarian, so I do not work in tech services. I don't have a lot of computer programming knowledge. You know, I've done HTML and CSS, and I took a Java class, but this is kind of geared towards people that maybe don't know the first thing about computer programming. They kind of want to see if there's some kind of way you can still create an app. And so this presentation first began when I was at the University of Alabama. I graduated in December, and I worked in their reference department there as a graduate teaching assistant. And so I co-authored a poster session for the Alabama Library Association convention for this past year with Brett Spencer, who's also a reference librarian at Alabama, and William Friedman, who was another recent library school graduate that was working in the reference department there, who's also done some stuff in their tech services department, and Dr. Bonnici, who is a professor in the library school. And we all just had several meetings. We all just would sit down once a week over the course of a couple of months, and we started out saying, okay, well, let's learn how to create an app. Both Bill Friedman and I had taken, I mentioned I've taken a Java class, and so we started out like, okay, we're going to learn how to do the coding, we're going to actually learn how to start from scratch, create an app, and very quickly we decided, well, that's really not very practical for us, and probably not for a lot of people. We thought, why don't we see if there's some other alternatives, and maybe we can show those to other people. And so then we discovered there are some easier options than just going and downloading the APIs and learning how to do computer programming and all that. And there's a lot of websites that make it really easy, and we also wanted to do it for free, so we found some options for that, which is what I'm going to go over today. And anytime you have any questions or you can't hear me or anything, just let me know. And this is just the poster session that we did, and as you'll see, I've kind of taken what we looked at and just expanded it, and now that I have a computer screen, I can actually demonstrate some of these things instead of just having a small screenshot. And so we just looked at 4 tools, mostly because there were 4 of us, but it works as a good number, and it worked out. We just kind of picked these tools. These were ones we read about online, and 2 of them ended up being easier ones to use, ones where you really don't have to know any computer programming, and 2 of them turned out to be ones where really you need to know some computer programming. So there are some options out there. I mean, there's a lot of options. These are definitely not the only ones, but this is also on your handout, and we just gave a brief overview of each of these tools. As I said, I'll start with the Mobile by Conduit, and we showed what platforms are supported, the useful features, and how much technical expertise you need, and what kind of library we would recommend it for. And we presented this in April, and from when we first started, I've already noticed there's a lot of differences on these websites. These things are changing so much that this is really a new, innovative kind of tool, and they're just changing all the time. And new ones are popping up all the time. So, I'd always be interested if other people find some really great ones. There might be some ones even better than the ones that we found. But it's kind of nice to know they're out there and start taking a look at them. And so, as I said, those are the four there, and I'm going to go into more detail on each one. And as I said, there's a lot more available, especially when they're willing to spend some money. I know that in my library, we really don't have a lot of funding. It's a very small school, and but if you are in a library that has a lot of funding, then you can really expand what tools you look at. So our favorite was the mobile by Conduit, and it's nice because you really can do it for absolutely free. They do have some pricing plans if you want to go above and beyond, but especially if you're okay with using the web-based version. Now, with all of these app tools, or most of them, you can choose between using the web-based version, where you just type in the web address or follow the QR code and go to where it's using the internet for the app, or you can use the native app, which is where it's really like a small computer program. And so on this one, you can use the native app for free and share it with people for free, up to 500 installs. So maybe that's too small a number, or maybe that's big enough for you, but then you can have unlimited installs of the web-based version, which I think works perfectly fine. And it's really nice because you can put in a web address. On the front page it says, put in a web address and get started, and it'll make it to an app. It doesn't work perfectly, as I'll show, but it's really cool, and it's a nice way to start. It kind of takes, one thing with this whole thing was apps just seem so mysterious, and just kind of wanted to see if there was some way to take the mystery out of it and show that, really anyone can come up with one. And similar to a lot of these kind of tools, it only offers so much customization. You end up with a pretty nice looking end product, but there might be some things you want to do that you can't without going into one of those tools where you really need the computer programming. So I'm going to go now into the website and just show a demonstration of it, and show you I did have that example app that I created. I just created a simple app like I would create for the Millsaps College Library. And when you go to that web address on a regular desktop computer, it comes up with this page, and based on what you put into your app, this page will look different for each one. But it tells you, if you put in your email address and click send link, then it's going to email you the link for the mobile site. You can scan the QR code, so you don't even have to, generate a QR code. So that's what, if people were trying to go to that web address, it's just on a regular computer. Let's see, I'll go to the website now. So this main page, like I said, looks completely different than when I first used it. So they just keep changing it, but it says you can just put in a web address, and I'll just put in my library's web address just to show you what might happen. Sorry, I always have live demonstrations. Then it just says, we're grabbing your content. You see it's filling in all these pages. And as you can see, it created an icon. It created a bunch of pages. But really, what happened with this, I've tried it before, and I noticed it was pulling stuff out for the college and not just the library. And I asked at the library about that, and they said that our website is on a couple of different servers. So this is an example of how, it does pull things off of a website, but it might not be perfect. So you can see, it's already, all I had to do was type in a web address, and it's pulled photos, it's pulled a Facebook page, it's pulled, a calendar. And this is without having to do anything, just type in a web address. And you could even go through and edit these pages if you said, you know, well, this looks pretty good, maybe I'll just edit it. That's one option you can have, you know, if it works. I've tried different websites. You can even try it if you have a blog or, you know, any kind of website. You can try it out, see what happens. Sometimes it'll pull just a Facebook page and a Twitter feed, or it'll pull a bunch of stuff or nothing, or pull the wrong stuff. So, but it's pretty nice that you can just start with a web address and make an app. And I'll show you a couple of other things before I go into how to actually make one. You can see on their site they do have a lot of support. They have, on all these websites I found was really helpful, just to go through their help pages, go through their FAQ, you know. Let's see. And then they have tutorials, so you can just sit and watch their videos that show you, you know, everything you need to know about getting started. And they even have a page for developers. So they do have a page for if you know, do you want to go for more advanced, you can download their API, make it more customized, but that's not really the kind of option that I went for. And they have a blog where you can read, you know, news about what they have going on as they come up with new updates and things like that. And so, you know, it's easy to join. It's just like any kind of you know, site that you join, you just put in your info. But I'll go ahead and log into my account. Oh, did not need to register as a developer. Here we go. So you see, that was that. Here's the one that I've already created. And they have a lot of different pages. You know, you can go into this for each of the apps that you create. It'll show you how many visits that you've had. If I had gone the native app route, I could have seen how many installs there's been. And And I did look into, you know, what happens if you get to 500 and you have to have paid more to get, you know, to the next part. They won't, you know, automatically charge you. You don't have to give any credit card info or anything when you get started. They'll just let you know that you've gotten to that amount, and then you can bump up. So it's nice in that you don't have to, you can start with the free version and always go up if you decide that you need more. So I'm going to show you the...
Where's the mobile site? I mean, where's the web version hosted? Is it on their server? Or?
It's on their server, yeah. And, you know, there's a payoff with that. Like, you'll see mobile by Conduit on stuff. There's no advertisements or anything. You see this little logo sometimes, but you don't do any of the hosting or anything. It's just all through them. And oh yes, I'll just show you the pricing plan so you can see. Yeah, so they're this looks different on this computer, but their smallest. Sorry, their page looks different. But their most expensive one is, you know, which you probably know library would do, is a one-time fee where you just get everything. You get unlimited everything, and they'll submit it to the different marketplaces for you. And you can't see the cheapest one, but for some reason, but it's $29.99 a month, and you get up to like 5,000 app installs, and they'll submit it to the marketplaces. Like I said, I think the free version will work for a lot of people. And as you can see, here's the stuff about the mobile site. It'll give you just a random mobile web address, but you can click edit, you can change this part of it. You can't change it. It ends at .movac.at, but you can change what it says right there. And you can use a custom domain, but then you have to upgrade to one of the paid accounts. And so the edit tool is the one that I think I use the most, is where you can actually go in, create pages, edit pages, and it has a simulator where you can see what it's going to look like. You also gives you the code you need to put on your website if you want to redirect your users that try to go to your website on a mobile device. Sorry. And this is what it would look like. So if they got on their iPhone and they went to your regular website, it could ask them to download the app that you created. And then it'll also generate a QR code. There's a lot of easy QR code generators out there, but it's nice that they'll go ahead and just generate it for you, and you can just copy and paste that, or copy and paste the source code. And then they also have analytics, which is really nice, that through this you can see how many people are downloading it, how many people are viewing it. So I can see a couple of people must have downloaded here because I haven't ever done it on an Android device. That's nice. You can see where people are doing it from. You can change the reports by, the time frame, by the platforms, and so that's a nice feature. And so I'll go ahead and show you just, how would you go through the process of actually just getting started with it. So if you go to your dashboard on this, is where you see all of the apps that you've created. I haven't seen any kind of limit as to how many, that you make. You can just make all sorts of apps, so that's nice. You don't have to just make one general one. You can make ones just for you and your coworkers, or just for instruction, or, oh, sorry. And so, it brings up this page where it says to put in, a web page, but you don't have to do that. You can just choose one of the categories and just click Go Mobile. And so it just starts with a blank template. You can add whatever pages you want. So you could start with, okay, well, I've got a Twitter feed, and then you just put in your @username. And then it just goes ahead and pulls it, puts it right there. And then you can say, okay, well, I have a Facebook page, put in your URL. And there's your Facebook page. You say, okay, well, I want to have, my calendar, have a Google Calendar. Showing today and forward. I don't think anyone wants to see the hours for the library from last week. You can change the names of the pages. I'd rather have to say hours. And then they have pages. You have several different ways to provide links. You can have a link where it'll just go straight into a web page when you click on it. Although I'm not crazy about that, because then there's not an easy way to get back into the app. You have to actually go out and go back in. I kind of like just using the custom page, which you can use for anything. And we can change how this looks too. Where you just enter in anything you want. It just works like a regular text editor. You can type in, let's see. No. I can see that. I'm just typing in search the catalog. And then you could just hyperlink it. And you can choose if you want it to open the same window or a new window. Audio, video. If you have a YouTube channel for your library, you can just put that in there. And I really like the contact us page. It's really easy. You just put in your phone number. And you can put in your email address, and you can put in the URL for your main page. And in your address, and I'll show you more of the examples of typing everything in back online, but whenever you click call, it'll actually, call on your phone. It'll call whatever number you put in, call the main desk. When you put in the map and they click on it, it'll bring up a Google map of where your library is in the map. And with email, however they have email set up on their device, it'll open up a new email message to that address. And, and you can also have a separate link for it with the map or about us or email or call. And then it's really easy to change the style. You just change the name. And there's somewhat customization. You can choose between a light or a dark theme if you want darker text on light background, which I think is usually a little easier to read. Let's see. You can change that background image. And the nice thing about this is that for a lot of their different things, you have the option to upload a custom. So, if you have a background image that you like to use for your library or just, anything that you like, you can upload that. Or you can choose between one of theirs. And you can choose, how you want to do the navigation. Do you want it on the bottom of the screen? Do you want it on the top of the screen? Do you want it, I kind of like this one. Or like that, So that's nice that you can just click on that. And then under colors, they have some different themes. When I was at Alabama, I would do this crimson theme. But, you can also change the colors. You have, a lot of customization as far as the colors goes, because you can put in, those numbers like you would for an HTML website. Or just click between them, since Millsap's colors are purple and white, I went through and chose, purple and white is the theme colors. And, let's see here. And so then, after that, you can just go ahead and click generate. And then your app's ready to use, and you can change it up a lot. I spent more time on the other one, and but as you can see, within 10 minutes you can have an app. And so I'll go back to the completed one. So you see with the contact us page, like I was saying, if you click on this, it's not supporting the simulation, but it would just pull up a new email to send to that. So I think that was a lot of what I was going to show for this specific website. Did anyone have any questions? There's a lot of stuff I didn't get into. I've played around with it a lot, but that was just kind of the basics of it. If anyone has any questions at the end, of course, then we answer them then. And so another tool that we looked at that was kind of similar in that it had the template kind of format was Appsbar. And it was about as easy to use, and but it didn't seem to offer as many features. It was a little bit harder. It didn't have the Google Calendar feature, which I really liked in the other one, where if you wanted to do like your events page, you had to type in each of it. But you can create forms with it, which was really nice, where you could just, create any kind of form that you like and set up an email address where it would email you whatever people put into that. And also, they'll submit your app to Google Play for free. So I'll show you that website. And this one's nice because, it's 100% free. They don't have pricing plans. You don't have the option of bumping up to something else, but that also means that you're really limited in what you can do. And let's see, so I made an example one on here. Let's see. Okay. And so this is kind of similar. I did kind of the same kind of content. You can see how their contact page looks. It's kind of the same in where you can map it and call and do the email, but it looks kind of different. And as I said, with the email account, then I get an email saying, you know, what their name is and when they want to sign up for a workshop. So I do like that. But see, I think that's about it for this one. So that one, it was not bad, but it had some things I didn't like as much. And so for the more advanced options, there's also Appcelerator and Tiggzi. And for both of those, they use JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, then you can really make a really customized app. And they do have some tutorials and things on there, which are nice. So you know, if you feel like jumping in, trying to create an app from scratch, then at least they do have a lot of help on there. You know, I think they even have like training sessions that you can sign up for. Training. Yeah, they have some different classes. You can become a Titanium certified developer. But I think some of their classes are free, some of them you have to pay for. But you can make some really nice looking apps with that. And then there's also Tiggzi, which out of the two where you could create an app using the JavaScript and using all the computer programming, I think that we like the Appcelerator better than Tiggzi. There's some reviews online of some different ones, and it says that for Tiggzi you really have to know your stuff in order to get started on it. So I went through a lot of that really fast. But are there any questions? Has anyone created an app for their library? I really liked when I did the poster session. I got a lot of input back from people. Some people said they went the paid route. They used a different tool than one of these.
I didn't make an app, but I just made a mobile style.
Oh, okay.
sheet.
Yeah.
So it was, but of course we just got Joomla at my school, so, and it comes with a mobile Joomla. I mean, all the Joomla sort of automatically mobile ready.
Okay.
But our webmaster just quit, so.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we're trying to figure out how to configure all that.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff could be helpful to get ideas and
Yeah.
how we want it to look.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of nice that you can just try it out
Yeah,
for free,
fun,
real
yeah.
easy, and you know, but to show that we have a mobile website too. Whenever I came to this library, and it's just very simple, which is not bad, but you know, the nice thing about this is that it's kind of like, especially if you do the web based, it's in between having a mobile website and in between having a full-on app, where
Yeah.
it looks like an app and it acts like an app,
Yeah.
but it's not as difficult. It's pretty difficult.
Is there any functionality that you get from the app in any of your examples that you can't do from a mobile website, or is it have the two been comparable in your setup?
Yeah, I've noticed that on the mobile website, I'll just show you, we just have a really simple one for Millsaps. Let me see. And there is some more functionality in do you mean between the mobile website version of the app and the native app version?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering what the advantage, if you're taking advantage of any of the native app abilities that.
Not really.
Might
Really
not be
just
able to.
let's see. I mean, maybe there's a way. Sorry. It's not working. But no, one thing that pull up here we go. Is just the different things like being able to call straight from the phone, that you just click on the button, you know, not having to like, okay, let me go into my dialer now. And the email function, you know, being able to just directly open up an email instead of having to copy and paste the email address. And having the Google Map function where you just, you know, so they have some things set up that even with like the mobile version of the app, that you can't really get it when you just create a mobile website on your own.
No, wait, what is it that you can't do?
I mean, at least with the mobile app, maybe there's a way to do it.
You're saying a mobile site can't do those things?
Yeah, I was saying like at least like the versions that I've seen of like the mobile websites, they haven't had like that click to call.
That's just how you code the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a tech
That's all right,
services
that's all
person.
right.
Yeah, I have seen some things where they'll allow you to use like a barcode scanner.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think you can do through the web browser,
Through the
but
web browser.
sometimes the apps let you do a little more.
I built a mobile site for my library using
Okay.
jQuery Mobile
jQuery.
that just built a mobile website.
Okay.
And I was just looking at it now, and it looks like they've made some interesting changes. They've got like a whiteboard that allows you to drag and drop tools on it. They've got jQueryMobile.com. But we have LibGuides, and so I linked to our LibGuides Ask Us page, and it automatically will dial the phone if you click on
Oh,
the
okay. Oh, good.
LibGuides will automatically detect mobile browser and send you to the mobile version of the page, and mail to links, phone number
Okay.
links work automatically on a mobile device from LibGuides.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we don't have LibGuides. We did in my past libraries, but this one we have an open source kind of. But that's good to know. I'll check out this jQuery. And yeah, as I said, as you noticed, there are changes with it. All these websites, they've had so many changes just so quickly. And so, if you just check back with all these different websites a month later, you might see, oh wow, it's got this functionality that I would have never thought they would
If you
have.
scroll down just a bit, you can see the little maker.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, as I said, I knew there were more of these out here. We just hadn't, encountered. I hear about new ones all the time, and that's nice. And really, with all of these, there's so many options that you just have to find what works best for your library. As I found with that Appsbar, I just did not like that it didn't have the Google Calendar function. So you might find things that are like, you have to have this, or you can work within this. But that's nice. Anyone else have any tools to share? Or?
I didn't create it, but our tech services guy, he used WinkSite.
What's it called?
WINK site.
Oh, okay.
WinkSite.
Okay. I'll have to take a look at that one.
So on your webpage, do you promote your mobile version, and do you have any problem with the URL? I mean, from your campus administrative systems people?
Well, actually, since I've only just started there, I've only just created this app, and I've shown it around the library, and there's been some interest in it, but we haven't gotten that far on it yet. I mean, the mobile website is posted on the library's website. You can tell it's just, a mobile version of it. They've had no problem with that, but I'm not sure as far as posting it on it. Yeah, so that's it. That's about it. If you end up, coming up with some new tools or questions, I'm rachel.renick@millsaps.edu. And, if there's anything else that we want to look at now, or anyone else has anything else going on in their libraries as far as creating apps, then please let me know. So, sorry, I went a little shorter. So this is my first conference presentation. I'm used to the poster session, and so I kind of went a little bit quicker than I meant to. But if there's anything else you want me to pull up or show or anything, just let me know. Or else if anyone wants to take an extended break.
Does anyone have any favorite emulation tools that you use when you're testing out how it's gonna look? I guess these have a preview, but if anyone make their own local site and use it, can.
I've always just
Just
gathered
look
up
at
everyone
our
I know and
Yeah.
created an email list of every device
Yeah.
that I've had access to.
Like Dreamweaver, it works pretty well. Even the most recent and the previous two versions work pretty well. But that's if sometimes a couple people might have it if you're still working.
So Dreamweaver, the newest Dreamweaver has.
Yeah, but even it's like 6, but like even 5 and 4.
The
they
one I
have-
have one from 2002.
Uh,
Maybe they can.
Maybe. I don't know. go on mobile. But yeah, if you happen to have that.
That would be an excuse to go.
That's right. Maybe get a new version every 5 versions or something.
Yeah, I do like the simulator function, and it doesn't look exactly the same. As you saw, there's some stuff that's not supported in the simulator, and then also even the colors and things. Sometimes, you know, you definitely want to test it out on your own devices or before you start promoting it to other people, because it does look different. So that's a nice thing, you know, is that it's free. They also on that, see, on that Conduit website, they have, they have a way for you to test out the native app. It has this test on mobile device where, you know, explains they have an app that they've created where you can test your apps. It's like re.bu is the app, and you just look in the app store for it, and then you enter in that app code, and then you can see, you know, exactly what it would look like if you were going to go the native app route. So that's nice.
We created a pretty, I think, good mobile app for our library and our mobile site, and we had a committee that worked on it, but we wanted to do an iPhone app, and we could never get to the state contract system. It got stuck, and I don't think it ever got unstuck, because Apple has such a restrictive contract that you have to sign to get your app up, and the libraries couldn't get it through the university's legal thing to get it through the Apple legal thing. It just never could.
What we did is that our app is through our college app. So it's like Hines Community College has an app, and inside the app you can do anything, including the library. So so it's like you can get to the library through Hines Community College, our app, which is on the iPhone. So that's what.
Well, I mean, we have a mobile site, and it works pretty good on the iPhone, but it's not an
The same
iPhone
as-
app, and it's
yeah.
not in the iPhone store.
Yeah,
So that's
and
kinda
and that's one thing that I meant to address is that, you know,
see here, and then from here is
Right.
the library there. So that's what we've done.
yeah, one of the reasons why I went for the more mobile site route is that you can submit these different you know, apps that you create to the marketplaces and actually have it show up in you know, in the app store for iPhone, but you do have to meet those requirements, and they'll even submit things for you, like even in Appsbar, they say that they'll submit it for you, but like they have to get it through the approval process, and sometimes they'll come back to you and say, oh, you need to change this, you need to add more content or that, and so that's why I kind of just went, you know, like, well, why don't you just give them the web address instead of having to go through the stores and all that, but there is a way to go through, and, you know, like you said, for at least with the Appsbar, you can get them to submit it for free, and on these, they give you directions even how to submit it on your own, but then they also, they give you the instructions for how to submit it on your own, but then they also say, well, we'll submit it for free for you if you upgrade to a higher account, or, you know, if you pay the one-time fee of $199. So there's different options, I said, especially depending on your pricing. As you mentioned, I have seen that a lot of libraries do have their apps through their university. When I was working on this at the University of Alabama, you know, we tried to approach them, can we create an app for the library or one to use, you know, just as a facet, and they did say flat out no, because we have ours through the universities. So that's one thing, working in a smaller college now, I see, well, they kind of are like all for us trying things on our own. Like whenever they did the mobile site, someone in my library, she was a tech services person, and she does a lot on the campus with all her technical stuff, and she just created it, sent it over to web services for the whole campus, and they said, this is great, you know, thanks for doing that. Yeah. So.
That's why I'm looking at webmaster quick, because there's no button to get on it.
Yeah.
So he's still teaching it? It's like, cause it's like.
Yeah, so it
I think
definitely.
the hardest part is sometimes like one university or library is figuring out what.
It's like he was a professor here when I was in undergrad, so.
Flattening that out.
Yeah, and even now we're changing our whole just regular website, and we've been able to
your card catalog to it by chance?
I just kind of I just use links that we had already used for the mobile website. They set theirs up for our catalog to be through WorldCat. Like WorldCat has a mobile kind of thing where they set up. There's got to be a way for me to pull this up. They've been working on our website, so that's why I think things are kind of weird. Actually, I think I have it in the example app here. Let me see. And also, we're about to move to the EBSCO Discovery Service, so that's going to change all of our search links. I think they even have their own app that you can use for that.
Okay.
But here's this library catalog via WorldCat. So I'm not sure how she set this up. This was the person who does a lot of the web stuff at our school. But there's like a WorldCat mobile website where you can search our catalog through that.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Can you get logged on? I never did get logged on. Yeah.
It's weird. It's like my computer's the same way. So, no, it's not just you.
I don't know. I guess I didn't set up all the ones in here. I know when I logged on my mobile device, I had to put in something else.
They have it.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks again all for attending. Hopefully this will at least spur you to go out and try to find some of these tools, start using them, and start exploring. Because I didn't even know that they had, that these tools existed to make it this easy. So it's kind of fun just to play around. You could just make personal apps, with your contact info for your website.
One other thing that I would add is, like I said, we use LibGuides, and it does an automatic browser detect. Leverage other things that you've got into it. So if you have EBSCO databases, there are EBSCO profiles that are designed for mobile. So create links to your EBSCO databases, and you can search those databases on your mobile device.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had links on our mobile site for JSTOR project use.
You can do everything except actually view the article.
Well, you can probably do it with one of these search links.
I'm hoping that just having
What did you have done?
You're supposed to. I think so. That's what she said. So you can do the work.